After some questionable drafting last week, I asked the chat, I said, how much longer can I say, hey, I'm rusty. I haven't done many drafts. Cut me some slack. I'm getting my feet wet. And you guys said, this is the week. This is the week that I need to knock the rust off. I need to get my shit together and start drafting some legitimate teams, some teams that don't have Michael Penix as my quarterback 3 on it. I'm Pete Overzet. This is Best Ball Breakfast. Let's see if we figured it out.
Welcome to hot best ball summer. You slurp that suspension dipperino, honey?
Easy to click on Rashad White when it's all site credits.
Exodia.
Put the puppy in the bag, bro. I'm trying to grow the goddamn game.
The game is beatable, folks.
Slap King Summer, bitches.
7,000 hours of commercial-free best ball drafts starts now.
All right, there we go. New little intro, fresh out of the hopper. Shout out Zach for putting that together. Always have to update it with the most relevant Best Ball Bros clips there. And now we are ready to go for a full summer of drafting. How are we doing here in the chat? Bukowski says best ball lessons never get learned. Nick is on board with me not selecting Michael Penix today. I think we can all agree on that. General Motors, GM. Josh says he hasn't started any NFL drafting or even watching content. It's time to get back in the best ball streets. Take me there, Peter. We will do this together then. We got Christopher live from his mom's basement. What a place to be. What's up, Meg? Do you have your shit together this AM? You know, I feel like in life, I have my shit together. I'm ready to go on our trip tomorrow. Got all packed, got organized, have cleared the decks, got everything done. But as far as drafting, I'm not so sure. I guess the one thing working in my favor is we haven't had a ton of stuff change in the market recently. We obviously had that flurry of news, the trades, the Justin Fields, the Jalen Waddle, etc. So there were some, little minor shakeups there, but it's been kind of quiet since then. So hopefully I have my shit together in the best ball streets, but we're about to find out. And I have hopped in a big board draft here. I tipped people off in the Discord. So this might be a friends and family edition here. Let me get my screen all situated. I'm drafting from the 111, which of all my various draft slots so far, I have not had too many from that side of the board. So that will be good. We're going to get 2 views up here for the screen share. We have the doorknob version and this version here. We can toggle back and forth to try to please all of the various preferences in the audience here. Who do we got in this draft? We got Shit Yeah the Achievers in the 1 hole. We got B-Spurf in the 2. Who else do I recognize in here? Roto Heat. Craig Charlie, of course, in the 12 hole. So we got a bunch of badges. The badge brigade is out, which I feel is just par for the course now. If you're drafting on March 23rd, 2026, you have probably earned a badge on Underdog in some form or another. All right, Crossface says, I don't drink coffee, but here for the pour. That's wild. So you're just here for kind of the general vibes, the ambiance, the acoustics of the pour. Well, I got you covered here. First pour of Best Ball Breakfast, March 23rd edition. There we go. Hopefully that hit the spot for you guys. Yep, new intro. Feeling good. Bigger board today, asked Goods. Yeah, I was actually thinking that same thing. We can do this big board draft, and then I was thinking actually a bigger board draft for the second one. So we are on the same wavelength there. Flyfish, how is the draft still a month out? It's so funny you say that. Life is all about perspective, because I'm like, how is the draft already 1 month away? And you're like, how is it still a month away? To me, it feels like it's flying fast and furious. But I guess that's just different perspectives there. All right, let's see what we got going here. Jahmyr Gibbs, 101, Bijan. We got Puka, Jamar Chase. Wow, Jonathan Taylor goes 5. JSN, and this is the news this morning, fresh off of a new contract extension. I believe it was 4-year deal that JSN got. He slides to 7 on his big day there. I have not drafted in this spot. I'm going to do James Cook. You certainly have, the Cook, the Barkley, Achane, Genty. I mean, we can talk about the Achane stuff a little more. Your guys' takes on Achane really aged gracefully last week, because I was like, I don't know, Achane's going to be fine, and then they trade Waddle and I'm like, okay, maybe it's not going to be fine. So I'm curious to see where Achane goes here. I have not selected James Cook in any of my drafts so far, so I will grab him. I still have sticker shock on any of these running backs here, but I think I can stomach it. Let me do my first Jeremiah Love. Can I do my first Jeremiah Love? Can we just have some fun? I did Achane last week. I've done a bunch of Kenneth Walker. I don't really want to do the Trey McBride thing here. I'm the Amari and Hampton stuff too. I'm kind of spooked on that price tag, not just because they bring in Keaton Mitchell. It just seems the team has been pretty clear about how they want to use them and how willing they are to use a committee. And now you had Mitchell, you had Kamani Vidal. I don't know. I think Omari and Hampton, like everyone else, is going to lead that backfield. But I'm going to take the mystery box here of Jeremiah Love over the DeVon Achane mess, over what I consider to be a bit of a mess with Omari and Hampton. So there it is. A high T, James Cook, Jeremiah Love start for this big board draft this morning. Steven, this is like the Davis Maddock. He's been pushing the Seahawks to trade their 32nd overall pick for Achane here. Where would he go? I mean, he'd probably be what, 1.7, 1.8, right in this range. Jonathan Taylor, CMC, JSN, maybe right before Amon-Ra, Jefferson, Lamb. What do you guys think? That sounds about right to me. 1.7, 1.8. I don't think it's happening, but it's an interesting hypothetical. It will be, whatever running back they draft, assuming they don't do anything else here in the meantime, that is going to be a hot commodity in drafts. Joe King wants the Achane of the Vikings. Yeah, I wrote about this in the Fantasy Life newsletter last week. The organization is adamant right now that they are not going to trade DeVon Achane, which it seems like BS. I don't know if that's just, lip service that they are paying to the fans there, just trying to let them know, oh no, we're not totally tanking. But it is weird from a team building standpoint. If you were blowing things up, the first asset you would move would be a star running back. It's the one asset that is worth way more on another team than it is on a bad team or a tanking team. So logically, it makes so much sense for them to try to shop him around. I don't know why they're coming out and so adamantly saying DeVon Achane is not available for trade. I don't know. Maybe they're just playing hard to get. I would want to keep the phone lines open if I were the Dolphins. Yeah, let me know if anyone wants to send us a first for DeVon Achane. It's kind of interesting how everything is played out for Malik Willis. It's not great to lose your top weapons, to have, Tutu Atwell and Jalen Tolbert and Malik Washington essentially leading your wide receiver room right now. However, I feel like most of the appeal of Malik Willis anyways is just that he's going to run a ton. He's just going to tuck it and run. And in that case, I guess the thesis really isn't unchanged. It's certainly nice to have a number one wide receiver, but I think we're all hanging our hat on the Malik Willis rushing anyways. So we start James Cook, Jeremiah Love. We are about to pick here at the end of the third round. Let's see what the board is looking like here. I think T. Higgins is a solid pick here for me. I got the ETR ranks in right now, top rank, top ADP, get my first wide receiver, and then we can kind of decide what we want to do when it comes back around here. So we start James Cook, Jeremiah Love, T. Higgins. Rashee Rice goes at pick 32, Tedoroya McMillan 33, Garrett Wilson at 34. I feel like I've been seeing a wide range on George Pickens' ADP. wasn't it last week he went early second in the draft we did? This time he's going more at the 2-3 turn. Charlie from the 12 hole goes Genty, Barkley, Kyron, and then grabs Zay. Now it comes back to me. Man, I guess I'm just going to do it. Am I going to do fourth round Bucky Irving? I think I will. Like, I mean, Ladd, Igbuka, JMO, I don't mind those guys, but none of them are speaking to me deep in my soul. They are not compelling me to select them. I do not feel the siren song. Specifically Ladd McConkey. I struggle with Ladd as well. So here we go. I've been drafting a lot of Bucky, it seems. James Cook, Jeremiah Love, Bucky Irving, T. Higgins to start here. Let's see. What's Tyler saying here? Shaking their head at the intel that McShay is sharing Love with Chiefs or Rams interested in Love. Yeah, I feel like there's been lots of rumors there. And now it's like it was supposed to be the Titans, and now the Titans are saying they're not going to do it. Achane should be going in the third. I definitely think there's a stickiness to the ADP. It's all we talk about this a lot throughout best ball summer, that players fall much slower than they should fall. I don't know if I fully agree with, like, look how quickly the talent drops off. Like, I certainly prefer Achane to Kyron in Javonte Williams. That's for sure. So I guess we're probably saying the same thing, like mid third round pick. Like if you wanted to take Henry and Jacobs and ETN over him, I would. I mean, I wouldn't really take Breece Hall over him. I mean, Breece Hall is essentially in the exact same situation that we're worried about Achane being in, right? But yeah, that's probably fair. Mid third round pick for Achane if we're being realistic about what that offense looks like. This has been like the popular counter to Achane FUD. 952 the Stew saying he's the number one wide receiver. How much is Malik Willis going to be checking down? This isn't like an Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers profile at quarterback who's going to be spamming his outlet in the flat. I think in theory it sounds nice, but is Malik Willis really the quarterback to pepper a running back with targets? I mean, you think about those kind of plays, and not to, cosplay as a ball knower, but you basically have two options. It's like extending essentially a broken play. Like you don't get your first read, you don't get the ball downfield. And so you're just trying to salvage something out of the play. A mobile quarterback is just going to tuck it and run it in those situations. The pocket passer is going to do the dump off because they don't want to take a hit. They don't have any juice in their leg. So I don't know if I'm convinced that Malik Willis is going to pepper DeVon Achane with targets here. All right, what do we want to do here, man? What's the latest with Cam Skattebo? Let me actually just do the wide receiver first. Charlie behind me has the exact same build, a 3 running back, 1 wide receiver start. Let's get our preferred wide receiver here, and then we can figure out if we want to do something else at running back. But we grab Carnell Tate here at pick 59. So we have James Cook, Jeremiah Love, Bucky Irving. We have T. Higgins, Carnell Tate at wide receiver. Charlie grabs Lemon. So we go back-to-back rookie wide receivers here. I need to know what the latest is on Cam Skattebo, because all I know is he just got in hot water for basically saying CTE and asthma aren't real. That was the latest I have seen from Cam Skattebo. But he's targeting the start of OTAs. This blurb's from 2 months ago, so who knows? Whatever. If there was going to be a build where you take the flyer on Cam Skattebo, it's what? Probably past ADP and on a team where you already have 3 running backs. There you go. I just took one of the creatine Caucasians, one of the CTE Caucasians, Cam Skattebo. Come on down. 4th running back on this build, pick 62. Yeah, I am a hypocrite. I say I learned my lesson, and yet no quarterbacks through 4 rounds. Note to self, remember to take quarterbacks. Where's my sticky note? Where's my sticky note? I mean, I agree with this take. Worst thing the Dolphins can do is hedge by not trading Achane for a full tank. I think we were talking about this on the Swolecast or some show. There is an element of optics where NFL organizations seem to care about the tanking accusations, say more so than they do in the NBA, where there's just blatant tanking. I think we were talking about this on Off and On the Clock, where they still want to put an entertaining product on the field. There's so much parity in the league that you can still kind of be competitive even with a mediocre roster. So I'm guessing that's the lie they're kind of selling themselves if they are serious about keeping Achane, but I completely agree. I mean, it's a total hedge. It's a fire sale. Like, you're completely blowing it up. McDaniel gone, Tua gone, Waddle gone. How is Achane not gone? You guys wanted me to take Burrow? Wow. Okay. Maybe I didn't learn my lesson. You guys I don't know. Burrow seemed, we're just doing the same thing all over again with Burrow. I guess he goes mid-6th here. Last year, it was T. Higgins and Jamar Chase anchoring Burrow to this side of the board. Now this year, you're going to have the Chase drafter who's always very interested in him. I guess, yeah, if you take T. Higgins where I did, you're going to have no chance at him coming back in the 7th. Like, there's no way the Chase drafter is letting him go a couple times there. Yeah, I could have done Burrow. I could have. Honestly, I was just running back maxing. I took Jeremiah Love, and Jeremiah Love's backup. I swear, there is definitely smoke with the Giants, right? They were interested in Kenneth Walker in free agency. There were some murmurs there. I mean, that would just be such an egregious use of draft capital. Like, they have so many more needs than running back, but man, I will not put anything by the Giants. I completely believe that the Giants would do such a thing. All right. Is this where I need to get a quarterback? Caleb and Dak go. Let's see. Do we maybe just pull the trigger on like a Jackson Dart and just go in on the Giants? I think we're going to do that. Let's lock up a quarterback here. I said I wasn't going to get shut out here. We passed on Burrow. We'll grab Dart here instead. Charlie grabs Lawrence and then Jacoby. I think I could grab another quarterback here. I really want to learn my lesson. So the question is, do I do like a Herbert, a Mahomes, backdoor Herbert? I guess there's some stuff with a little, let's do Mahomes. Let's do Mahomes. I still like being able to target Worthy potentially. And I don't even have to do 10 kick flips in a row to be able to select Worthy. I can just click him on my own free will. But, man, what is the better back stacks? Is it Herbert into QJ, Gadsden, Trey Harris? Probably. That's probably the better back stack option. With KC, I guess you're into Worthy and Kelsey. I guess it's comparable. There's definitely more names, more bodies if you go the Herbert backstack route. But we grab Mahomes here. So for the audio listeners, we're really trying to learn our lesson. Don't get stuck with a bunch of shit quarterbacks. Don't get stuck with a bunch of shit running backs. So here we are. Jackson Dart, Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, James Cook, Jeremiah Love, Bucky Irving, Cam Skattebo at running back, and then just two wide receivers, T. Higgins, Carnell Tate, and no tight ends yet. Duck and Ear asking why Cam Skattebo would think asthma is fake. Why do people think the world is flat, brother? Those questions are above my pay grade. We live in a universe where everything is a conspiracy. No one can believe anything. Burrow too busy playing flag football. I know. Team USA wiped the floor with, it was like 2 or 3 different teams. And like, you know, they had the influencers on it, Logan Paul. So it wasn't like a true, you know, NFL team. There were like defensive players. I mean, like Ashton Genty and I mean, it wasn't like the roster you would actually construct, I assume, for the Olympic USA flag football team. But still, the Team USA, the non-NFL players, it's almost as if flag football is its own game with its own unique set of skills that maybe NFL players aren't well practiced in, like removing flags from someone instead of running into them with the force of your entire body. What is up, AJ? See, this is the other thing. Ben says, nice little dart scat Tate stack. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that cooler heads prevail in the Giants organization and they actually take a wide receiver there. I mean, I feel like you need insurance way more on kind of the Malik Neighbors situation. Not to mention they lose Wan'Dale Robinson in free agency. I mean, wide receiver, such a bigger need for them. Let's see what my guy Friedman has in his most recent mock. He still has Jeremiah Love 4 to the Titans. He has Carnell Tate going to the Browns at 6, Lemon to the Saints at 8, and then Tyson falling to the Rams at 13. It does seem hard to believe that the Dolphins would pass. All right, hang on. I'm back on the clock here. Wide receiver. Well, should we just? I was about to correlate. I was going to correlate Jackson Dart with Wan'Dale Robinson. As I just said, they lose Wan'Dale Robinson in free agency, but we will take him regardless. I mean, this is kind of a team where I think we need to bank some targets at tight end. So we'll just grab Wan'Dale Robinson a little bit past ADP here. Should we keep grabbing wide receivers? Or we could grab a third quarterback in this range. I actually finally think we could like chill a little bit. Should we be Coke heads? Jalen Coker? How do we feel about Coker at 117? Kind of a weird season for him last year. Took him a while to get going, had some of the injury stuff there, but then really started to come along at the end of the season. Seems fine. Like if we're drafting Parker Washington in the 6th round, we can certainly draft Jalen Coker at 117. It's like the same player. Obviously, Parker Washington, better situation, but if the thesis is just betting on players we think are good, are we allowed to do that with Jalen Coker at pick 117? 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. Best ball breakfast, trying to get my shit together. I think the chat wanted me to go Joe Burrow with T. Certainly would have been a clean stack. We do have Dart with Skattebo. I believe we missed out on Worthy, right? Yeah, Worthy went 102. That would have been a nice selection there. That would have been a run to the podium selection if Worthy comes back on the Mahomes team. He doesn't. We go Wan'Dale Robinson and Coker here. People want me to backstack with Tyquan Thornton. Yeah, what is the deal with him? I thought he was expected to leave. Did they officially re-sign him? I feel like I missed the news on Tyquan Thornton. Okay, so he's still, yeah. Okay, why is it saying 20 hours ago shares what he's looking for in a team, and then this says Chiefs re-sign wide receiver Tyquan Thornton? I'm so confused. Is this a very old article? I guess we're gonna trust this, right? So he re-signed. All right. March 9th, 2026. ESPN would not lie to me, right? They wouldn't lie to me. You guys wouldn't lie to me. Tyquan Thornton still on the Chiefs. Money Ain't a Thing says 2023 Peter Overzet would be disappointed with your life choices in this draft. 2 wide receivers through 8 rounds. That's absolutely true. But do you know what else is also true? 2026 Peter Overzet would have been very disappointed in 2023 Peter Overzet's best ball results. That's also the truth. So both past and future versions of myself can be mad at each other for different reasons. There's the the details on the JSN extension I was referencing earlier. Signs a 4-year, $168 million contract. All right, let's see here. I think we can still wait for this pocket for our third quarterback. We could do the Denzel Boston. Do Denzel Boston here. Does Friedman have Boston going in round 1? Yeah, he has Denzel Boston going to Buffalo here. So we've seen a few different iterations of the Bills taking a wide receiver, KC Concepcion. Let's get our tight end. Let's do the Dallas Goedert. Top of rank. I need a tight end here. We were talking about him just being a solid value coming back on this 1-year deal with Philly. You get some of the extra added outs if AJ Brown gets moved. We'll take Dallas Goedert as our tight end 1. So we're up to a 2-4-5-1. Jackson Dart, Patrick Mahomes. We got our 4 running backs, James Cook, Jeremiah Love, Bucky Irving, Cam Skattebo, T. Higgins, Carnell Tate, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Coker, Denzel Boston, and then Dallas Goedert. And, you know, my thesis with these guys who have been, I don't know why I just did a split pane here. With these guys who have been projected to go in round 1, and I wrote about this in my recent underdog strategy article that's pinned in the chat there if you guys want to check it out. But you look at these wide receivers who in Matthew Friedman's mock drafts, he's been having going in round 1, KC Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper. And I really, in the past 2 to 3 years, cannot think of a wide receiver who was selected in round 1 who didn't become a top 90 pick over the course of the summer. Like way back when, like in the Garrett Wilson era, Garrett Wilson was like an 11th or 12th round pick. But in this new era, the Matthew Goldens of the world, Zay Flowers, when he comes in, any of these guys who go back into round 1, like they're a lock to be a top 90 pick. So I think it continues to remain smart, even if you have questions about these guys' specific profiles, to continue taking stabs at them in the 130s. I see Omar Cooper here on the board at 150. You're just going to get massive CLV if Friedman is correct in these mock drafts, and Friedman has been the most accurate mock drafter, I believe, over the course of the past 5 years. So I'm inclined to tail him on some of these names and just see how the chips fall. And I think specifically too, like, yeah, going to the Steelers, no one's going to get super excited about that. But whatever, if the Bills draft a wide receiver at the back end of round 1, the market is going to be very excited about them. Even with DJ Moore there, I think both the stacking dynamics for the Josh Allen drafter, just the general vacuum that we all feel for targets in that offense. All right, Omar Cooper does go. I do think this is where I want to get my third quarterback. I don't want to be in this Michael Penix zone. So we can go Daniel Jones. We've already done Jacoby. I think Daniel Jones is really kind of like the last guy where you feel comfortable about his starting role. Jacoby and Minshew, who knows what happens if Geno can hold on to it. Ty Simpson, we have the Tua Penix mess. Rodgers, Shadur, Fields, like Daniel Jones does feel like that tier break. Did someone take Travis Hunter? All right, I can't do Travis Hunter. I can't do Travis Hunter again. What's the deal with Diggs? I mean, I don't like Diggs, but he's fallen almost 20 picks past ADP. ETR has him ranked at 128, and I just selected him at 158. Should I was when I was putting in the new intro, I noticed I did still have this clip in here, and I think now would be an appropriate time to play it. Value hounding. Stephon Diggs there. 3-4-6-1. This draft is ripping. Absolutely ripping. So I would like to say, I think we kind of learned our lesson at quarterback, right? Like we at least made sure we barely snuck it in. It was don't get stuck with the Michael Penixes of the world. Bryce Young would have been nice. Bryce Young with Coker. Bryce Young goes 152. He goes 3 picks before us. This was a bad string because I like all of these guys. Bryce Young would have made sense for this team. Omar Cooper Jr., who we're just talking about, going to be projected for back end round 1 draft capital, and then Travis Hunter, who I continue to think is a great risk reward bet at these prices. All 3 of them come off the board, and we have to take Daniel Jones. But at least we have a quarterback who should theoretically start. Chat asking me about Kelsey. I could have. Where did Kelsey go? Kelsey went at 137. Huh. Yeah. No, that's true. I do like in a vacuum. I like Goddard more, but on a Mahomes team, it probably should have been Kelsey. Look at this guy balling out here. Goes Laporta, Kittle, Kelsey, all off the rip. See, I still am rusty. I said I would have my shit together. It's like when you try to fix your golf swing, right? And you focus, it's like, okay, I'm just going to work on my grip. I'm just going to make sure I get 3 starting quarterbacks. You focus on your grip. And next thing you know, you're forgetting about your follow through. In focusing on my grip, I forgot about my follow through. In focusing on my quarterbacks, I forgot about one of my true passions in life, stacking. Unbelievable. Do not let me forget to select Tyquan Thornton. Do not let me forget. Should we get another tight end here? I have not selected Eli Stowers yet. Njoku still hasn't found a team. I feel like all these wide receivers are the same. Should we get a little upside here? A little Stowers? Let's do it. This is a fun question. Let me make this pick here. I do love taking some flyers on Tank Dell. I did forget Darnell Mooney signed with the Giants. Should we do Darnell Mooney with Dart? I did just say I can't forget about my stacking. Let's do Darnell Mooney. 3-4-7-2. Jackson Dart, Patrick Mahomes, Daniel Jones at quarterback, James Cook, Jeremiah Love, Bucky Irving, Cam Skattebo at running back. Wide receiver, T. Higgins, Carnell Tate, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Coker, Denzel Boston, Stephon Diggs, Darnell Mooney, and then Dallas Goedert and Eli. Is it Stowers or Stowers? Stowers at tight end. So structurally doing all right. Definitely messed up the Mahomes stuff. Sniped on Worthy. Didn't prioritize Kelsey. Got my big giant stack. Is there anything that should be on my radar for Indiana? I mean, Downs, Pierce, long gone. I do like Downs a lot. Where did Downs go? Downs went out 125. So yeah, again, similar situation. If Downs comes back to me where I select Denzel Boston, that becomes a good click. Wow. Go easy cards. This team looks like my dog bowl teams. No chance to cash. It's rough. Can we get a bracket battle update? Yeah, that's a good call. Although I can't pull it up on desktop. Let me see who's winning. I swear to God, Chris, if I open this up and you're in first place and this is why you want a bracket battle update, I'm on to you guys. I know your motives. I have 49 points in mine. Let's see. In the Deposit Kingdom, where we ended up with 1,804 entries, first place is Spat. User Spat has 56 right. We got Gugbot, Jaybird, possibly Cole, Daigle. Daigle there tied in second with a handful of users there. Yeah, it looks like 56, 55, 54. Those are the high scores right now. Drew asking about Diggs. Are people just scared of the legal stuff? Seems like the talent is there almost as much as a guy like Mike Evans. I disagree with that. I think there's a pretty big gap in what we saw from Diggs and Evans as far as what they were delivering last year. But yeah, people really dislike uncertainty. Let's get some wide receivers here. Should we do Jeremy, Surratt, Branch, Brazel? We grabbed Jeremy Bernard. See, this is where I need to go back to my my Fantasy Life draft guide, which this is completely free, fantasylife.com. Go to the NFL draft guide, and then you can head over to the big board, hit all prospects, go over to wide receiver. There's my Jeremy Bernard. Big versatile weapon who followed Kalen DeBoer to Alabama and became the Tide's do-everything offensive fulcrum. 6'1", 204, 74 supermodel rating score. You know what? What are my tight end options? Is this where I didn't get Burrow? We could get a third tight end here. Do we do Tongas? I have not selected Tongas yet. How do we feel about Jake Tongas? Does ETR just like not have any of these tight ends ranked? They just stopped ranking tight ends. The best available tight ends: Colby Parkinson, Theo Johnson, Gesicki. I could have done Gesicki with Higgins, Dulcich, Ingram, Darnell Washington, Dawson Knox. Ugh. Yeah, this is rough. This is rough. So we have a 3-4-8-3. We have 2 more picks left. Probably what? Another wide receiver dart and then maybe a 5th running back, I'm guessing, is probably the play. Any updates on your big meeting with UD last week? In Sweet Leaf's mind, I went into that meeting asking about the little boards. I don't know if I have any meetings for you. Part of it was about the March Madness stuff. Another thing was something that I am going to be announcing soon. I have a video recorded. It's off to the editors, and it is going to be published on the Deposit Kingdom channel probably sometime in the next week. Whenever it's done, I'm also away on vacation for a week. But I have a new thing that I'm announcing. And yes, there was something in that meeting that is tied to this video. That's all I can tell you right now. But I'm very excited about this. This is going to be kind of an off-season project, piece of content that I think you guys are all going to like. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the Deposit Kingdom YouTube channel. If you are confused by that, this is my live stream channel. Anything live I do here. If I do any edited, pre-recorded videos like the Best Ball Bros video, those all live on the Deposit Kingdom channel. The majority of the content on this new project will be on the Deposit Kingdom channel, but it is very much fantasy football and best ball related. So you will want to check that out. And like I said, within the next week or so, that new thing will be announced. What's up, Flannelverse? Do you know what I was thinking about the other day, Neil? I think I saw a clip of somebody and someone had one of those Flannelverse hats, and I felt left out that I didn't get an influencer Flannelverse hat. I just wanted to say that right now. You know, as a best ball bro who often wears hats, I just felt like I deserved one. Jacoby Lane. I panicked there. I did want to get another rookie wide receiver on this team. Surratt was gone. Jacoby Lane, 6'4", 200. Oh, yeah, this is the USC guy. Should we do another running back? What do we do? Do we play like the Brian Robinson? I don't know. ETR had Brian Robinson and Trey Benson there. Who knows what the deal is with Brian Robinson? I can still see him signing, being like a solid RB2 somewhere, probably in an RB3 role if we're being completely honest. But I didn't feel strongly about that pick. I mean, these are the best available running backs at the end of the draft board right now. Trey Benson, Ray Davis, Najee Harris, Justice Hill, Amari DeMarcado. I guess I could have done DeMarcado. I mean, talk about what do you win when you win. I mean, what you win with Amari DeMarcado is, I guess, Kareem Hunt, which actually was not a bad win. So maybe it should have been Amari DeMarcado. LaKent Allen, I don't mind. Again, pretty capped upside-wise, what you're getting from his role. Adam Randall, Joe Mixon. I don't know. It's all pretty gross. Here's the final team. You know, I think I did better in some things. I think I forgot some other important things. I'll let you be the judge. 3 quarterbacks, Jackson Dart, Patrick Mahomes, Daniel Jones. That's fine. That's fine. 5 running backs, James Cook, Jeremiah Love, Bucky Irving, Cam Skattebo, Brian Robinson. Seems fine. Did we get there at wide receiver? Did we recover with 9 wide receivers? T. Higgins, Carnell Tate, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Coker, Denzel Boston, Stephon Diggs, Darnell Mooney, Jeremy Bernard, Jacoby Lane. So I think kind of a fun mix of, target earners in Wan'Dale Robinson, Coker, hopefully Diggs, Mooney, and then a bunch of rookie flyers, Tate, Boston, Bernard, Lane. Obviously need a great year from T. Higgins as our anchor wide receiver. But if I squint, I can see this wide receiver room working out. And then 3 tight ends, Dallas Goedert, Eli Stowers, Jake Tongas. I maybe could have justified like a 4 tight end build. Definitely at risk of taking like zeros from Tongas as the season progresses, which doesn't feel great. Maybe Gesicki or Theo as part of the Giants stuff could have made sense. Where's Likely going these days? Likely went at pick 150 right after Mark Andrews. So yeah, I don't know. That one felt fine. You guys liked Colby or Theo, Parkinson or Gesicki. Yeah. I want the Tongas pick back. I just don't know how the flannelverse hat would look backwards. I'm happy to be a front-facing hat wearer with the flannelverse. It's based on the hat. If I think the hat looks good forward, I'll definitely do that. Likely is a smash at 150. Why educate me? Why is he a smash? I mean, to me, it feels like he's running into just a very similar dynamic that he was in with Mark Andrews in Baltimore, where you're splitting time with another tight end and you don't have even quite as good of an offense. I think, your touchdown expectation in the Giants is going to be far less than with the Ravens. I'm just worried of more of the same for Isaiah Likely, because they do like Theo Johnson too. So I don't know. He seems like fairly priced to me. He's one of those guys that I think we've collectively always wish casted a much bigger role than teams are willing to give him. Maybe that changes now that he's finally on a new team. But I think the baseline expectation should be similar role to what he's had previously. Yeah. Theo Johnson's going to outscore Likely. Doesn't it just feel like a redux of the Mark Andrews Likely dynamic? All right. Let me pour some more coffee. Do we want to do a bigger board? I mean, let's do a bigger board. I've only done one of these on stream. I would like to get in a few more. I'm probably not going to enter slow draft hell. So my only chance to fill these, or do these is on stream. So come join me if you guys have bigger board bullets. And I'm going to pour some more coffee while we try to fill this here. Looks like we need 4 more spots. I should mention a few other programming notes because I will be out of office, so to speak, starting tomorrow, but we've moved up 2 of the Tuesday shows to this afternoon. So you will not be deprived of those this week. That includes Off and On the Clock with the Badge Bros. We have all of the MLB baseball contests that are going to be locking. I believe it's Thursday. And I have not done my solo shot. That's the $75 single entry MLB draft yet. So I'm going to have John and Nez guide me through that on today's Off and On the Clock. That's going to be at 12:30 Eastern, probably right after Best Ball Breakfast. I might finish a little bit beforehand so I can get a couple things done, but that'll be at 12:30 Eastern. And then Swolecast is going to be today at 3 Eastern. And then as far as for me, no more shows this week. ADP chasing will still be good as normal tomorrow evening. But yeah, then I am not going to be back until Tuesday afternoon, evening next week. So I'll be gone a full week. And then I'll probably move Best Ball Breakfast next week to Wednesday, just so we can make sure we get that in. But yeah, I will be out, and you guys will be left to your own devices for the next week. We did fill this bigger board, though. We got the 104. Nez is at 105. I thought that was Eagles, but it's Bagels. We got Charlie, Roto Heat, Craig in here. Goods, who was asking for the bigger board. You got it, sir. X-Spin. Air is a cool name. Air is a very cool username. I don't know if I've seen that one yet. All right, we are on the clock. I mean, I do prefer, I think, JSN, Jamar Chase, but can I do JSN on his big day? The dude just got paid. Let me select JSN. Just let me do it. Let me celebrate JSN getting the bag. All right, catching up on some of the chat. You can get Stowers at a lower ADP, and it's the same or better bet than likely. Hey, that's what I did. Who would you rather take naked, Herbert or Dart? Well, I think that's an interesting combo. I think just straight up, naked, give me Dart, right? He's going to run, I think, more than Herbert, even though Herbert runs a little. I do think it's a little interesting in that there are some solid backstacking options for Herbert. I mean, we were just looking at that. You can do QJ, you can do Trey Harris, you can do Gadsden. So I think there's merit in taking either. And I probably would split the difference, 50-50 if I kept finding myself with that decision. Your coffee pours sound like my whiskey pours in the 90s. Man, I have not been drinking much at all these days. I've been pretty dialed in, but I'm going to enjoy some cocktails on my vacation. I think I've earned it. CSL saying, I've only done one bigger board, but seems like people aren't as desperate for QBs in that contest. I've only done one, and it seemed like people were still pretty thirsty for them in the one I did last week, but other people who have completed 5 bigger board drafts would have to shine a light on that dynamic for me. Thank you, Beesper, for qualifying. MLB locks Wednesday at 6 Eastern. So if you're looking to get your MLB entries in, you need to do it by 6 Eastern on Wednesday. Jason says, Pete, how do you balance diversification versus value? If you have a player ranked, say 10 plus spots ahead of ADP, what exposure will you have? Yeah, this is kind of like an age-old question. You know, the typical response is it comes down to your own risk tolerance. To me, it also comes down to like what kind of volume are you talking about, right? Like if you're only doing 10 or 15 drafts and want to make a stand, like go for it. That's kind of what I'm doing with, let me go Derrick Henry. I don't think I've taken the big dog yet. Let's do the big dog. I mean, it kind of scares me, but let's just do it. But back to this question, if you have a player ranked, say 10 plus spots ahead of ADP, what exposure percentage will you have? So one thing that I am way less likely to make a massive stand in the early rounds as I am later. And the Travis Hunter is the really good example. I think most of the downside at those prices, pick 150, are almost priced out, and I'm willing to have a bag at 150. But it would be very rare for me with a round 1 or a round 2 player to be like, I am going to take this guy every single time. You know, let's say I was just super high on Brock Bowers, which I have been known to be historically, and I just took him every single time at 2-1, 2-2, 2-3. I just don't have that kind of confidence. And so I think of it like a sliding scale. The deeper I go into the draft, the more willing I am to take a massive stand, because the truth is these ADPs get really efficient. Ranking sets are really good. ETR, leg up, do an awesome job. If you deviate that far from the market, it's generally a time where you kind of want to pull back and say, do I have something wrong here? Am I off with how I'm valuing this player if I'm that far off from ADP, that far off from other ranking sets? So that would be just one element to look into. And I'm going to select AJ Brown here in the second round. So I go Derrick Henry, JSN, AJ Brown. But ultimately, it all comes down to risk tolerance. And I think the more drafts you do, the more portfolio and value pilled you should probably be. Versus, you know, if you're only doing a handful of drafts, I think you get exploitative. We talk about this in the Underdog Masterclass as it pertains to the daily games a lot, because you're often drafting 200, 300, 400 teams for a single weekly slate. In those instances, it all comes down to preference. Some players like to load up on a perceived edge, a player they think is mispriced. I tend to be more on the portfolio side, like to build a lot of strong teams. And the end result is, you know, if you're right, you can often be right in a massive way if you have a huge stand, which is fun, but it also means your entire portfolio can get wiped out. Whereas if you play a little bit more from a diversity standpoint, it's less likely you're going to have a day where you lose 100% of your entry fees, which could happen if you take a stand on a single player and you draft them on every team and then they bomb. So again, lots of dynamics there. Comes down to risk tolerance. Honestly, I do recommend, you know, we haven't talked about it in a while because we haven't been in daily season, but the Underdog Masterclass, we talk about all of these, I spelled it wrong, all of these dynamics in this course. And so you can go and get that course, use promo code BADGE. You can get 20% off. But if you're looking for macro concepts on bankroll management and contest selection, all of these kind of dynamics here, I highly recommend it, because we have roundtables that are essentially expanding on this exact kind of conversation we're having here. What's my adult beverage of choice? So I'm definitely very both like seasonal and temperature specific. You know, when I'm somewhere warm, I do love margaritas for sure. But I like a nice, you know, whiskey on the rocks, an old fashioned, a Manhattan at night there as a little bit of a nightcap there. But margaritas are my go-to. All right, we are back on the clock here. Should we get some JMO? Let's do some JMO here. Top of the rankings, top of the ADP. Certainly prefer him to Devontae Adams. I do like Terry McLaurin in this range as well. Waddle seems like a fine price. Nothing super, you know, compelling at that price. So let's get a little JMO here. So we have Derrick Henry, the big dog, our anchor. And then we have JSN, AJ Brown, Jameson Williams. So kind of flipping the build how we did last draft, where we had, what was it, 3 running backs through 4 rounds, and this time 3 wide receivers. Tequila Sunrise. I might be able to oblige you on that. All right. The one hole here, also going anchor RB, rips 4 straight wide receivers. Nico Pickens, McLaurin, Evans. Trevion Henderson goes. That's kind of a bummer. I was going to be interested in him as my RB2 here. This is going to put me kind of in a tough spot. Like structurally, I don't really want to do a 4th wide receiver. Judkins goes. I think, do we just do Lamar? You know, Lamar is, again, top ADP, top running back. Just do an all-in. And I kind of like this correlation. Not from an individual game standpoint. We know that Henry and Lamar are going to be kind of negatively correlated from a touchdown expectation standpoint. But just the idea of, if I have concerns about Henry, like the way things work for Henry in that he's a smash again, is the offense is humming and he's scoring a lot of touchdowns, a lot of gimmies, and they're salting away games with big leads. If that's the case, it probably means Lamar is also having a good season. Like, so I do like the running back quarterback correlations from that team level standpoint, specifically if you have kind of concerns about age cliff, efficiency, etc. with these guys. You know, I think another example would be something like a Javonte Williams, right? Or even a Kyren, where Kyren is more so a bet on the offense. Javonte is a bet on the offense than it is on like the talent of that running back itself. So might as well correlate it with the quarterback. And it just lined up well here. I'm trying to not get behind the quarterback avalanche. Didn't love the running back selections available. You know, Tootin goes, Swift, Montgomery, Skattebo. We're going to have to get creative at running back, though. That's for sure. It's not the best format to play fast and loose with running back, right? 4 of 12 advance. And then it's only 2 of 8, 1 of 8, 23 seat final. So some of the things we're typically looking for in the wide receiver heavy builds and what they can do for you in the playoff gauntlet, those benefits are a little offset by these pods, which is essentially 1 of 4, 1 of 8, 1 of 8, and then a 23-person final. Devonta Smith, career year incoming. I don't know, man. I just watched a highlight of him in that flag football game. What's his face? I show speed. I am speed. See, this is how I sound like a boomer. I don't know the name of the biggest creator in the world right now. He was foot for foot with him, step for step. All right. There's a bunch of quarterback options here. I think I'm going to grab the running back because there's just basically nothing here for a long time. I'm going to grab Jalen Warren, and then I can see about quarterback coming back. Yeah, man, that dude is fun. Speed could probably run a 4.40. It's pretty insane. Like, just the idea, too, of, like, these content creators being more famous and bigger personalities than NFL athletes is wild, just on its own. Like, sure, you're going to compare him to, like, a Logan Paul or whatever, or a Mr. Beast. But then to have that dynamic coupled with Speed, who is legitimately, like, a world-class athlete, is wild. He's done some cool stuff, too. I saw he did like a whole tour over in Africa. So we started JSN, had to take the guy who just got paid. We come back and take Derrick Henry. Then we go A.J. Brown. We go Jamison Williams. We come back. We grab Lamar. It was pretty flat there at running back. And I am very excited to run to the podium to select Jalen Hurts. We get Jalen Hurts, 6 picks past ADP. We have A.J. Brown. Don't love this spot for running back. Like, there's literally nothing on the board until, Tyler Algier in about 12 picks. Wide receivers, sure, Alec Pierce, Metcalf, Wilson are fine. But on this build, I think that felt really comfy. Lamar and Hurts, Henry and Warren, JSN, A.J. Brown, and J-Mo. This is clearly why Jalen Hurts dropped in this draft, because he got sacked by Logan Paul. Exactly. And ain't this the truth, Mr. Brad? No way Clavicular is running step for step with Devonta. You know what? I saw a photo of Clav, and I can't believe I'm calling him Clav. I feel like we're still on a clavicular name basis, but his physique has fallen off. Like, all of the stream stuff has really gotten to him. He used to be like pretty shredded. And now, I mean, this dude's on stream talking about eating Burger King. What happened to our King Clav, man? He let the media tour got to him. He forgot about his core mission in life. He's not going to get invited on the Adam Friedland show if he's up to 22% body fat. I have seen the speed jump over the Lambos. All right, let's see here. We are in the bigger board draft. This is the $100 contest. 4 of 12 advance in this versus the 3 of 12 in the bigger board. This contest 71% filled. Much smaller contest, 2,200 entries. There's a good amount of names up here that I like. There's a few different directions I could go. I feel like I probably need to keep grabbing running backs. I'm going to keep getting my guy. We did a long rant about Blake Corum last week. I still like Corum a good bit here. The Pollard thing just feels like such a landmine. Obviously, if they go Jeremiah Love, man, like, talk about a binary range of outcomes there for Pollard, where it's like they grab Jeremiah Love and he essentially goes to 0. He becomes Raheem Mostert to Ashton Genty. Or they don't select him and, he's giving us, I don't know, high-end RB2 production again. Seems like a landmine to just kind of avoid for now, though. So we got a 2-3-3-0. I'm curious here. So I pick at 117 next. I think with this quarterback spend, I don't have to worry about stacking stuff. And I have lots of good outs. Like, if Goff comes back to me with J-Mo, if Darnold comes back to me with JSN, I don't think I need to do anything with quarterback right now. I do think Laporta makes a ton of sense, right? Like, even if I don't get Goff, J-Mo and Laporta, I need a tight end here. I could take like a Jadarian Price if I was worried about running back. I think Laporta, I haven't done a lot of the mid-range tight end. Definitely feel like I've been more polarized. I've done like the McBride and Bowers builds, done a lot of Fannin, or, started the room with George Kittle, with Dallas Goedert. We'll grab a Laporta here in the middle. So we got a 2-3-3-1, Lamar and Hurts, Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Blake Corum, JSN, A.J. Brown, J-Mo, and Laporta at tight end here. Yeah, this is a good point by Mike. The tight ends with your quarterbacks are both great values. That could have been an argument to push tight end. Pollard could get traded. Yeah. Man, what does Pollard even fetch? That feels like, what is that, like a 6th round pick? It's honestly depressing how little these running backs can fetch on the open market. Yeah, Goff does go to Charlie, which I expected with his Amon-Ra there. Gadsden goes. We could hand. It's so funny. I was just saying, joking about handcuffing the Steelers backs with Gainwell, and then realizing that that Gainwell is now in Tampa. Should take some Gainwell though to offset all of my Bucky. But I think Jadarian Price is the pick, right? I need a running back. He's fallen a good bit here. ADP of 104, even the rank, he's now fallen behind the rank a good bit at 110. So I'd say Jadarian Price at 117. He could go what? Mid round 2? Is that where does the mock draft database have him going? What? This is why is this 2026? Hang on. Where's 2026? All right, there we go. Consensus mock draft. Why am I struggling here? Consensus big board. Here we go. All right, let's try this now. Jadarian Price. Yeah, 47 on the big board projection, 32 to Seattle. So I have heard some like Jadarian Price. If Jadarian Price goes to the Seahawks, I mean, he's going to jump 5 rounds. Josh Downs goes. I would have liked to grab a Josh Downs share. I think I'll just keep mixing in these rookie wide receivers. I did Denzel Boston last time. I'm going to do KC Concepcion. I'm going to keep taking these guys who are likely to sneak into round 1. Let's see the consensus big board on Concepcion. Pick 31, Boston, pick 28, Cooper 26. I mean, these guys just all strike me as awesome values. Cooper, Boston, Concepcion. I'm going to continue to select them in this range. So we grabbed 2 rookies there to pair with our quarterbacks, Lamar and Hurts. We have Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Blake Corum, Jadarian Price. Wide receivers, JSN, AJ Brown, JMO, KC Concepcion. Tight end, Sam Laporta. I don't want to jinx it, but this is my favorite team I've drafted so far this 2026 season. Could it all crash and burn? Absolutely. I do lose Sam Darnold, so I am going to have to think about how I want to play 3 quarterbacks. But honestly, can I? I know 3 quarterback is the meta, but I think I could fully rock a 2 quarterback build here. Maybe I tack on like a Ty Simpson or something at the end. But maybe I just trust the capital I spent here on Lamar and Hurts and rock a 2 quarterback build. Plans for live ships chasing during the draft. Absolutely. Absolutely. Every year you can bank on that. Yeah, we haven't had the flagship ship chasing show in a while. Just scheduling has been tough. I'm on vacation this week. Pat's on vacation in 2 weeks. I think we're going to do a show next Wednesday. So that's when I come back, next Wednesday. Then Pat's gone. Then the week after that is the NFL draft. We'll have that live stream on the Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, for all of round one, friends of the show, all that good stuff. And then we will settle back into a regular, I think it's going to be Wednesday afternoon. So ADP chasing will be Tuesday evenings. Ship chasing will be Wednesday afternoons. And we'll get into a regular rhythm. But we took some time off, scheduling, vacations, all of that stuff here. All right, Goddard's still here. I think we have to do Goddard. We were talking about stacking up my tight ends here. Goddard is the first one by ADP. Let's get Hurts double stacked here with AJ Brown and Goddard. And who knows, maybe we get the 2-for-1 where AJ Brown moves and then we get the Goddard Hurts stack. And then the Goddard part of the stack looks even better. We have ship chasing on day 2. We traditionally do not do a ship chasing show on day 2. Normally Ben Gretsch and Sean Siegel do a stream on day 2. They kind of pick up the baton from us. But yeah, we normally just go long on Thursday night and then pass the baton. Troy, can I read your current draft? Absolutely. I try to service the audio listeners at least every few rounds, and if you request it, I am happy to. I have Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts at quarterback. I have Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Blake Corum, and Jadarian Price at running back. I have JSN, AJ Brown, JMO, and KC Concepcion at wide receiver. And I have Laporta and Dallas Goedert at tight end. Okay, so, oh my goodness, this one, I do love the idea of taking Andrews. I love Hunter. There's so much I want to do here. I'm going to do Omar Cooper. I feel like he's been the one I haven't been able to get as much of Boston, KC, Concepcion, and Cooper, those 3 that we were just looking at on this consensus big board who are projecting for round 1 capital. I liked a lot of different picks there, but I think ultimately having 2 tight ends already, Andrews was a bit of a luxury there. So I'm going to let him go since I already have Laporta and Goddard, and I can get a 3rd tight end later. There was nothing really at running back that I wanted here. So it really came down to wide receiver. I've done the Hunter thing a million times. Let me do Omar Cooper Jr. there. It definitely makes sense why, I think people are right to not be as frothy for the rookies in the bigger board format. You're more likely to take some zeros there at the beginning of the season. And obviously the thesis is kind of what they do for you late. However, I think with these round 1 guys, you get the opportunity to kind of have the best of both worlds in which they just step into immediate opportunity. We were talking about it with the Bills. We look at some of these other spots here. Denzel Boston to the Browns. There's opportunity for these guys to hit the ground running with targets. Now, are they good or not? That's the question. You can very much have a Matthew Golden situation on your hands. And it won't matter if they're not good. But I also think if you even just hitting on 2 for the price of 1, like if you got 1 big hit out of KC Concepcion at 124 and Omar Cooper Jr. at 146, I think you're pretty happy with that. As long as Denzel Boston isn't related to David Boston, he's got a shot. He should be good. He should be good on that front. If you guys are new around here, we are going to be ramping up the streams once I'm back from vacation. I'm going to bring back Best Ball Bash. So hopefully we'll have one of those. I believe it would be a week from Thursday when I get back. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Bash, and actually let me make sure I get a selection in here. Hunter Henry seems solid as my 3rd tight end. The bash is if you are a YouTube member on the channel, it doesn't matter which level. It can be the lowest price point or whatever. If you are a YouTube member on the channel, you are eligible for the bash. The bash, I make the chat member only. So if you're not a member, you can't even type in the chat. I put up a code on screen or whatever. You type that in to enter your name into a drawing. I spin the wheel. If your name comes up, I send you the link to the stream. You hop on. I pay for a draft that we enter. And if we make the finals of a tournament, we split all the money. So fun opportunity to come on here, get to draft on, not site credits, peak credits. Peak credits. Easy to sakes, Denzel Boston on peak credits. And we have a grand old time. I ran it through the season with the Battle Royales. But let's be honest, it's most fun with the best ball drafts. Get a full 18 or 20 rounds to get to know the guests. So that'll be coming back. I'm also going to have a fun announcement in addition to that video I was talking about. So we're going to have lots of stuff here pick up over the next few weeks and as we roll into the NFL draft and then hit the ground running for best ball summer. Let me take a guy I don't think I've had a chance to select yet. A.D. Mitchell, man. Can I take A.D. Mitchell? I know the quarterback stuff, Geno, yada, yada. I know a lot of his production last year was when Garrett Wilson was off the field, but man, A.D. Mitchell looks so good. Like when A.D. Mitchell is on, A.D. Mitchell is on. And I'm just fun maxing on this team right now. I mean, these wide receivers, JSN, A.J. Brown, Jamison Williams, Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper Jr., and A.D. Mitchell. I hate to say it, but this wide receiver room fucks. It just fucks. Hurts and Jackson. The running back room, like I was a little iffy at the start, but honestly, Warren, Corum, and Price to follow up on Henry seems fine. And then the tight ends are locked and loaded. Laporta, Goddard, and Henry. Group bash still deserved better. I know we built an absolute regular season juggernaut. Imagine if we had drafted that in the marathon. Oh, man, that team was hot. But I have faith. I have faith. It's been too long since I got an on-stream draft to the finals of a tournament. You know, it's been all the way back to BBM2, my draft with Bime 4. We've been very, very close. 2 years ago, I think it was one of my Swolecast drafts that came like one Christian McCaffrey carry short from making the finals. Last year, we had a couple in the mix there. This is the year. This is the year the stream draft gets us back to the finals. All right, let's see here. We have 5 more picks. It's 11:18. I think we will be able to do one more big board draft after this. So if you haven't been able to get in the first few drafts, the best way to get tipped off, I always try to give priority access to the Discord. If you are a YouTube member of the Best Ball Breakfast, or sorry, it's Best Ball Value Hounds tier, you can see it over here on the overlay. That gets you access to a couple of things, to a private channel in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. Once you become that member, go in the Discord. The link's down below. In the FAQ, there's instructions on how to sync your Discord and your YouTube account. That'll unlock that channel, and I do a ping and a message in there once I've hopped in. So that's how you get priority access. And in addition, you get access to all of the After Dark shows. So I do those one night on the weekend, generally Friday or Saturday night, and bring on guests from around the industry, get to have longer form conversations that there isn't really time for on the regular shows. Have had a really fun string of guests these past 4 to 5 weeks. So take advantage of all of those perks with your membership there. All right, let's see here. This feels like a running back or wide receiver pick. Let's see. Should we do it? What do we want? Katron Allen. Did I just time out? Okay, I timed out on Shimmery. I timed out on DK. Man, my first timeout of the day. That doesn't feel great. I don't mind DK. I do have, I had the ranks in. I just don't think wide receiver was necessarily what I needed there, but I didn't get my shit together with my running back targets. So we will regroup. We will regroup here in the 17th round and see what we can do. I think I have one more coffee pour in me here, and clearly I need it after getting an auto timeout there. Let's see here. Let's look at some of these big board running backs. Jadarian Price, Mike Washington, Jonah Coleman, Emmett Johnson, and then you got both the Penn State guys, Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. Katron Allen goes, so we'll take Singleton here. Singleton projected, 121? We'll get another body here. I am a little rookie heavy for the bigger board, I will say. I basically drafted the big board team of my dreams in the bigger board. Lamar Jackson and Hurts, Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Blake Corum, Jadarian Price, Nicholas Singleton, JSN, AJ Brown, Jameson Williams, KC Concepcion, Omar Cooper Jr., Adonai Mitchell, Shimmery DK, Sam Laporta, Dallas Goedert, Hunter Henry. I want to see a daily and/or dog bowl qualifier bash to bank. Yes, that would be awesome. We'll definitely keep the bash rolling through the season as well. I do agree. Dog bowl bash is probably the way to go in season. I mean, I love doing the battle royales. They're just so quick. The dog bowl bash, a little closer in spirit to doing a full 18-round best ball draft. Like I mentioned before, at 12:30 Eastern, so that'll be in a little over an hour, we're going to do some MLB best ball. That's a different stream than this, but you should be redirected there if you're watching. We're going to do my solo shot here. Smaller contest, $75 single entry. I have no clue what's going on when we draft baseball teams, but I do love drafting teams with my personal sidekicks, getting white glove concierge service on every pick. Highly recommend it from Ball Knowers if you're able to get it. That's the next evolution. You know, everybody talks about AI, how easy it is to build. What we're really going to want to return back to is human connection. And that's why I'm launching my new service called The Best Friend. He calls you up while you draft. It tells you over the phone every single pick you should make when you're on the clock. It's just like the sidekick or the solver, except it comes with a one-on-one direct line to your tout of choice. Register today. $999 a month. I mentioned maybe just taking an extra flyer on a quarterback. I think I might just do it here. I mentioned the Ty Simpson thing. This is round 18. Let's just take Ty Simpson, get a third quarterback here. I mean, we certainly have the ability to be patient with Simpson on a Lamar and Hurts team. We're at a 3-5-7-3. I think I'm good at tight end. 2 more picks, probably at least 1 more running back. Could go 2 more if we're really feeling frisky, or we could get an 8th wide receiver. Can we get a 12 influencer draft for bragging rights high-end contest entry covered? That'd be fun. Yeah, I feel like we haven't done one of those in a while. The Spike Week guys used to put together, I think they did it a couple years in a row, kind of like an influencer draft, and that was fun. Yeah, I'd be down for something like that. Should we do Justice Hill? No more Keaton Mitchell. We do have this Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. Should we just hoard Hoard the Baltimore running back touches. I don't know. I didn't feel too inspired there. Let me see my any other stack considerations I should make. Eagles, I mean, Hollywood Brown now there. Could mess around with that. Were you guys saying Bateman earlier? You guys were Josh and Bateman to me. Of course, the second I put Hollywood Brown in the queue, Eagles just snaps him up. I keep saying Eagles. Bagel snaps him up. We got one more pick here. Thank you, Bindles. I did have it on backwards, but then I was campaigning for Neil to send me a flannelverse hat, and he said it must be worn forward. So I was trying to demonstrate to Neil that I am capable of wearing a hat forward. This team needs Rashad Bateman. Crossface, did you miss it? I just gave you a pour. Like literally 4 minutes ago. I think I'm out, brother. What did I get? Did I give you guys 3 pours? I think I did 3 pours. Can I roast Nez's team, please? No. You think I'm going to roast the guy who I'm putting my solo shot in his hands in less than an hour? Absolutely not. Yeah, you're going to have to roll back the tape. You guys are demanding. We're going to need 4 pours moving forward. How about this? If Nez snipes Rashad Bateman from me, actually, maybe I do have to roast Nez's team. How does Nez have 9 running backs? Nez has 9 running backs. Are you allowed to do that? I didn't even know Underdog would allow you to take 9 running backs. I thought there was something hard-coded on the back end that said, like, once you get to 8, you're good. Nez has been overserved. Overserved. What happened on this team, Nez? Now I'm curious. I wasn't even paying attention. Wait, this is the old draft board. Let me go back. What happened here? What? Holy cow! Let's listen to how high T Nez went, and then I will also do mine here. So Nez went, where is it? Nez took Brock Purdy and Bo Nix. Listen to this room. Travis Etienne, Bayshell Tootin, Tyrone Tracy, Woody Marks, Braylon Allen, Trey Benson, Kamani Vidal, Ollie Gordon, Adam Randall. His wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Cortland Sutton, Ricky Pearsall, Khalil Shakur, Keyshawn Booty, and Tez Johnson. I thought we talked about, we canceled Tez Johnson, Nez. We're not allowed to draft Tez Johnson anymore. You got to look it up. And then Colston Loveland and George Kittle. All right. Honestly, I was expecting your wide receivers or tight ends to look worse with this strategy, but you go the 2 quarterback, 2 tight ends and just absolutely blast off at running back. Here's my final squad. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Ty Simpson. Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Blake Corum, Jadarian Price, Nicholas Singleton, and Justice Hill. JSN, A.J. Brown, Jamison Williams, Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper Jr., Adonai Mitchell, Shimmery, DK, Rashad Bateman, Sam Laporta, Dallas Goedert, Hunter Henry. Maybe just like a slightly too rookie heavy for like a really good bigger board draft. You know, maybe I get behind a little bit in running back points. But man, I don't know. This team's fun. Lamar and Hurts. You get Jadarian Price on here at a value. Some really good wide receivers. 2 of the rookie values. My favorite rookie values, Casey Concepcion and Omar Cooper Jr. Tight end room's great. Laporta, Goddard, Henry. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Final draft here. I did register it on the sly, tipped you guys off in the Discord. This is back to just a big board draft, and we got the 105, the nice little Goldilocks zone. Speaking of Goldilocks, I've been reading. So April's into the Three Little Bears right now, and we've been having to have some tough conversations about what Goldilocks did, and explaining to April that it's just not okay to walk into someone else's house. But she's trying to negotiate it a little bit. Like before we start reading the book, she'll be like, Goldilocks should have just gone in their backyard, right? Like she really wants Goldilocks to be able to go play at this Three Little Bears. And I'm like, the going in the backyard, yes, is technically better than breaking and entering into someone's home who's not there. However, you probably shouldn't go in their backyard either. And it's really made reading the Three Little Bears a huge ordeal, kind of explaining how we exist in a society with not just trespassing on people's property. Because April really wants to root for Goldilocks. She really does. I think she identifies a lot with the little girl with the pigtails. And in her mind, everything would have just been okay if she went and played in their backyard. She probably would have broke less stuff. But otherwise, it's a tough sell. I mean, Goldilocks literally breaks and enters into these bears' home, breaks their chairs, eats their food, breaks their beds. I guess doesn't break their bed. The little bear finds her in there. Anyways, I'm back on the clock. Let's mix it up. I know we did JSN. Let's do Jonathan Taylor. I do not think I've taken Jonathan Taylor yet. Let's flip it around a little bit. We just did a draft with JSN. We'll go JT here. And if you do break in, don't complain about the food. Absolutely. I mean, Goldilocks she's really a bad person. All right, there it is. Breaking news. Former Bears and Seahawks running back Travis Homer signed today with the Pittsburgh Steelers, per source. If Sam Sherman isn't taking a 15-minute break from his consulting gig right now in corporate America to draft a Travis Homer tweet, then he might have lost his fastball. You got to imagine that Sam has push alerts for Travis Homer and that he just immediately ejects from the meeting. Yeah, I'm gonna need to take this. He comes back in. Everything okay? Not really. Not really if you're Caleb Johnson or Jalen Warren. Travis Homer just signed. Davis headed outside to film immediately. Exactly. Unfortunately, I cannot promise any breaking news videos from me while I'm on my trip. In fact, I can't promise them ever, but certainly not this upcoming week. So hopefully nothing crazy happens, because you guys will all just be clamoring. I wonder what Pete's thinking right now. What does Pete think about Travis Homer? I just wish Pete would put down that tequila sunrise and record a short form vertical video about what this means for Caleb Johnson's dynasty value. All right, we started Jonathan Taylor. We let JSN go. Chase Brown goes in front of me. Let's see. Should we do, McBride's here? I don't think I've done a Drake London. Now, I probably shouldn't take Drake London because this is going to make pushing my quarterback 3 all the more palatable. I'm going to have a decision to lock up my QB3, and then I'm going to be like, or I could just take Michael Penix Jr. in a few rounds to stack him up with Drake London. So maybe I'm enabling myself with this selection, but we're going to start with Jonathan Taylor and Drake London. Drunken members only reaction videos. Let's see. Producer Mark asked me, which number big board are these two for you? I need to go actually and look in my completed drafts here. Mark, this is big board draft number 9. And so I did, or let me refresh. Yeah. Big board draft number 9. Yes. And I did number 8 earlier. I do need to label these. What is this? What's the date today? 3/23. All right. I'm on the clock here. Pickens goes, Jacobs, Breece Hall goes. Goodness. All right. We can do Olave this time. Let's do an NFC South little correlation round robin here. Drake London, Chris Olave, Jonathan Taylor. I was thinking about like pulling up or doing Jacobs at pick 20 and starting 2 running backs, but we got JT, we go Drake London, Chris Olave here. Coxer, will you be doing any dance drafts on OOTC at some point? Absolutely. We actually did. I don't know if you missed it. We did some a few weeks back. And we mentioned that we were going to certainly circle back and do some before the contest closes. Let me see, when do those close, just so I know. Those drafts close on 4/18. So yes, I think we will definitely do one more show on the dance before those finish. But yeah, we did one. Let's see. We did a couple of dance drafts on March 3rd. So Coxer, if you missed it, and granted, a decent amount has changed in the NBA since then, I imagine, in the seating. But we do have a video from March 3rd on Off and On the Clock. But yeah, either next week or the following week, we will we'll get back in the dance streets. Javonte Williams is still a thing. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw me 2 weeks ago when I drafted a Javonte Williams team, but I've never been in so much pain. I actually got some very funny comments on TikTok. So I was posting, posting the clips everywhere, posting it on TikTok. And, on TikTok, you'll sometimes get like a non-best ball crowd. You'll get some of the traditional season long. And there were a couple comments that were just like, he's seriously going in the 4th round. Let me see what these are. Yeah, someone wrote 4th round ? Yikes. I was like, my thoughts exactly, brother. My thoughts. So even the normies who aren't in the best ball streets are like, you guys are out here paying a 4th round price tag for Javonte Williams? Get a grip. Third leg likes the 2 spot. Gibbs, Henry, Jacobs. Pretty high T. Pretty high T. Yeah, I do. I should try. Someone remind me next Wednesday. I should force myself into a 0 RB build. Index of Suspicion says I'm not proud of it, but I'm going to keep 0 RB alive if others don't. Certainly not in vogue. Certainly not the meta. Certainly not the way ADPs line up. I mean, I'm happy to do it as an experiment. I don't think it's optimal right now. In general, the strategy is going to become so much stronger as the season progresses, or I should say the off season progresses. We get more information on these backfields, obviously the draft, training camps. Just the risk of taking on a ton of zeros late right now is very high. Like if you were to think about your 0 RB exposure on a sliding scale from, late January to August, I think you would want to ramp up your 0 RB exposure as the draft season progresses. But it is fun. It's fun to experiment. I do want to do it just to test that muscle a little bit. And holy shit, you guys got me distracted. How did no one tell me I timed out on Ladd McConkey? Oh my God. At least I get Trevion Henderson here. I guess I did scoop the Dipperino a little bit, but I am somewhat tilting. What was I doing? Was I naming my teams when that happened? Was I looking at the dance? I auto-drafted Ladd McConkey against my will. Who would I have taken instead? McLaurin or Burden, probably? Jeez. That's tough. At least I got a little bit of a value on him. Here's the team through 5, and I've made 4 of these picks on my own. Jonathan Taylor and Trevion Henderson at running back. Drake London, Chris Olave, and Ladd McConkey at wide receiver. I guess I can live with it, but I don't know. I'm down on Ladd relative to the prices of those other Chargers pieces. He feels, I mean, at this point, we're probably quibbling like he feels more like a 5th round pick to me than a 4th round pick. But I think I would rather have Burden. I would rather have Waddle. I would rather have McLaurin. Would rather have Evans, I think. So this is how, whoever was asking about portfolio diversity, and I've said this before, the best way to diversify your portfolio is mix in a few auto picks that you wouldn't otherwise click. Because I think I would have come out of big board season with 0 Ladd McConkeys otherwise. Yeah, I was on TikTok. I'm just one of those people who has had their brain broken by social media slop. My brain rotted. And what consequence? You know, a lot of times when we talk about social media brain rot, a lot of the effects feel more long-term. Like we don't know what the effects will be. We don't have accurate studies on, you know, what it does to our brains after 10 years of this. But in this case, I felt the effects of it immediately. I immediately got the consequence of getting distracted by TikTok. And now I am on the clock again. Normally I've been taking quarterbacks here, but let's go running back again. We'll do RJ Harvey. We're basically going to say, hey, let's take a mulligan on Trevion Henderson and RJ Harvey in 2025. Let's basically draft them at pretty similar prices again in 2026. And see if it works out. Jonathan Taylor, Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Drake London, Chris Olave, and Ladd TikTok McConkey. Let that be a lesson. If you spend time on TikTok, you too will end up with Ladd McConkey on your best ball teams. Ladd has not shown an ability to, at least last year, to consolidate targets. I mean, his market share of targets down the stretch with Gadsden, QJ, and Harris was like legitimately concerning. He was closer to Trey Harris in target share than he was to Keenan down the stretch. I'm pretty concerned about Ladd. I think he can pay off his price in this range if he has some well-timed spike weeks. And his price has come down from where we were drafting him previously. So it is nice that the market is acknowledging that change in his role a little bit. We could do Warren again. I mean, quarterback. Okay, so we are going to have to, where are we at quarterback? We're at 76. I think this is where I just need to pull it up. I need to pull up Justin Herbert here, not get shut out. This is us trying to learn our lesson. We'll pull Herbert up like 7 picks relative to ADP. We'll lock in that stack with Ladd. Like, if I'm going to accidentally click Ladd, I might as well lean into the skid. I just selected MVP candidate, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert to Ladd is the stack. We have Jonathan Taylor, Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey at running back, Drake London, Chris Olave at wide receiver. Pete's most recent video is just a video of Davis and Jacob. That's right, brother. If I'm going to pay for clips from ADP chasing, you better bet I'm going to get my money's worth out of them. Inner Pete really wanted an excuse to draft Herbert. Jake, I'm going to give you a little feedback. You just have this little edge to your comments. I've noticed it over the past few streams. You're just a little prickly, a little know-it-all-y. Just take a breath. We can have constructive dialogue here. Not everything has to be condescending. We can each share our takes in a respectful manner. Just take a lap, Jake. Take a lap and come back. Okay, I was going to do Jalen Warren when I was going to select Herbert. I just need to make sure there's nothing I need to do quarterback-wise. I'm trying to think. I probably want to be able to target one of these guys in this range. Like the two ranges I'm trying to hit would be this like Mahomes to Goff or Mayfield range. And then there's this second tier of like Willis to Daniel Jones. And I probably need to have one from that first tier and then another one from that second tier to make sure I don't end up in hell. Now, Shuck would obviously be a strong candidate for this team with Olave. And I pick at 101 and 116. So Shuck could potentially be there for me at 116. I don't have anything else lined up stack-wise at this point. I only have 3 wide receivers here too. But I don't think that's a huge issue. I certainly feel better about this range. I actually really like this range of wide receivers. We could stack up QJ here, and then we have a run. I like Xavier Worthy. I like Reed. We got the rookies I like in here. The question is just making sure that you get basically the quarterbacks and wide receivers I want often go in a similar range here. I'm trying to think, like, if I go Reed, could I set up Love? There's just a long way to go until I pick again here. Dobbs, we could do Dobbs with Henderson. I think we just get QJ. I think we just lean into this Herbert stack. I think that's the play at this point. We need a wide receiver. We have Herbert. Probably going to get the stack blown up if I try to do Reed to Love or Love to Reed. All right, so here we're at through 9 rounds. Herbert at quarterback. We double stacked him with Ladd and QJ. Running backs, Jonathan Taylor, Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Jalen Warren. We got a pretty nice value on Warren. Like, dare I give it a, oh, Jalen Warren, pick 92, ADP of, is that because Travis Homer signed? I understand sending Caleb Johnson to the woodshed because of a Travis Homer signing. I don't think Jalen Warren should be falling on a Travis Homer signing news. KLS pick late for the takes. I might have to. Yeah, exactly. Best Ball Bros are so tuned in that Jalen Warren drops 1.5 rounds on Travis Homer news. If you think Travis Homer ruins Jalen Warren's fantasy value, then you never deserved Jalen Warren in the first place. $1,440. About to pick here at 116. Jordan Love goes one pick after me Reed goes, man. So that Love Reed stack was almost there for the taking. Golden goes to him. So I'm going to be able to get Shuck here, which, man, it pains me to pass on Worthy. I did complete my 10 kick flips earlier, but in the spirit of not getting shut out at quarterback, we're going to take Tyler Shuck stacked up with Chris Olave here. Let me refresh myself on the Saints here as well. ETN, the only other Saint who's gone. Jawan Johnson could be a target around 160. Vele as like a late dart seems like it makes some sense. Like Vele can definitely have the Darius Slayton career run out where he's a perfectly serviceable 20th round selection most years. So we have Shuck and Herbert. Hey, TD, Mr. Mufasa, you're commenting on the stream late. We've moved on from the Jake Tongas selection. Does Warren get a Gainwell type role, or who soaks up the Rodgers checkdowns? I mean, that's why the Gainwell thing was so frustrating last year, because there was a lot of overlapping skill set with Warren. I do think the hope is that Warren then kind of slides back into that role more consistently, because they had kind of turned him into a two down grinder at times last year. All right. We are about to pick here at 11. Malik Willis, Darnold, Mendoza, Ward Young, Daniel Jones. So the question is, do I need to pull the trigger here, or can I push it? There's definitely some names I like. I think it probably makes sense to get my first tight end. I do love these guys in this range. Let's grab Kittle, though. I am just a sucker for Kittle at these prices. The fact that you can get cheap tight end production late to kind of buoy zeros or a slow start, and then get late season Kittle hammer, just seems like a bet that I want to keep making at 125. What are the blurbs? I mean, we got to get some updated blurbs. Our last Kittle blurb 2 months ago said Monday that the right Achilles surgery he underwent last week went as well as possible. The tight end said he expects to return to action well before November. I hope so, brother. I think I've said this take before, but it's like, if there's anyone I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt on being a freak and being able to come back earlier rather than later, it is George Kittle. Is it crazy to do 4 tight ends after round 12, says James? I don't think so. I mean, I think the later you wait to select that first one, the more viable it is to go the 4 tight end route. I mean, that was a running bit on Best Ball Breakfast last year, drafting with Leone, that we were always just a little 4 tight end curious. I think we did a couple 4 tight end builds, and that was with 18 rounds. So yeah, everything's on a sliding scale of draft capital. And if you're new to best ball, like one of the best phrases that you can keep in your head is quantity or quality, not both. So if you go 3 early running backs, you have high quality running backs. You don't need a large quantity of them. And in this case of these tight ends, you don't have quality tight ends. You waited until after round 12. So you need to ramp up the quantity of them. So quality or quantity, not both. I like keeping that in my head there. All right, let's see here. All right. Man, don't do it to me, Cutler. Don't do it to me. 2 quarterbacks. He goes Shakir. Okay. I think I have some quarterback options. I want to get one of Mendoza, Ward, or Jones. I've been kind of into taking Ward here because I do like the Titans back stack options. I was actually listening. Jacob, Corain, and Davis did their Dynasty Roundtable recently, and Pat was extremely bearish on Cam Ward, but I thought there was a good debate there. And I think the Dynasty bearishness is probably more warranted than the season-long bearishness. Obviously, you're stuck with that bag for forever. Theoretically, if Cam Ward bombs and gets benched, that hurts you way more in Dynasty than it does best ball. I'm willing to take the risk on Cam Ward in best ball this year. And, Jacob was making some points about how the organization and how NFL evaluators are talking about Ward is way different than they have these other busts. There are always whispers about Zach Wilson and JJ McCarthy and just like, don't think they're ready. The Titans seem extremely bullish on Ward. They're bringing in weapons for him. They signed Wan'Dale Robinson. They're probably going to select Jeremiah Love. They might even draft another wide receiver. They got all of these year 2 guys in DK, Iomanor, and Helm. I like how it sets up. All right. Like, we're just going to do Travis Hunter. Like, I can't make it through a stream without selecting Travis Hunter. This is one of those issues where I think there's so many good wide receiver picks in this 13th round range that I'm just cycling through them. Omar Cooper, Casey Concepcion, Boston, and Travis Hunter. And on today's final big board draft, it ended up being Travis Hunter. So here's the squad through 13 rounds. We did get to our 3 quarterbacks: Justin Herbert, Tyler Shuck, Cam Ward. We got our 4 running backs: Jonathan Taylor, Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Jalen Warren. Our wide receivers: Drake London, Chris Olave, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and Travis Hunter, and then tight end George Kittle. So in good shape at quarterback. I like the cut of my running back room right now. Wide receiver room's chugging along. Going to need to backfill some tight end production, but that shouldn't be hard. I think we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Kugenic says, hot take, get core of 5 first picks, wide receiver and running back. Finish with 4-6-6-4. It feels strong. Try it out. All right. I will. Next time I'm on stream, remind me. Yeah, I agree with this take from James. If we're trying to avoid zeros in round 16 through 20, feels like there are many more viable starter tight ends that can hit the roster than what's left at the other positions. Yeah, and that's kind of evergreen. It's generally easier to find starting tight end points just because there's a lot of the unsexy guys that don't have like a breakout ceiling, but they can give you the necessary points to keep you in the mix. What's the deal with Deebo Samuel these days? Where is Deebo Samuel going to go? What happened to Deebo? But I will say, I'm just going to keep doing, I'm going to do Hunter Henry. I mean, talk about just a perfect fit with a George Kittle. Just give me Hunter Henry's 8.4 points per game until George Kittle comes back. Steven, am I the only one tilted by long usernames? You are not. I'm tilted by my own username, by my own username. I've had quite the saga with usernames over the years, and I fumbled it on Underdog. It should have just been Pete. It should have been Pete. It's promo code Pete when you sign up, which, by the way, new offer, but you can get up to a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. So if you deposit $2,000 with promo code Pete, you'll get $1,000 in bonus cash in addition to that. It should have just been Pete. And I did my full name because I was course correcting from some of my mistakes on other sites when I was FF comedy _ Pete on FanDuel, when I was revert Z top on DraftKings, and I fumbled it. It should just be Pete. How am I not just Pete on Underdog? I messed it up. Should I do my guy? Actually, let's do Tajay Spears. anytime you can get the third running back on the Titans, we've already done these jokes, but we're going to live in a reality where Tony Pollard gets traded and or they don't select Jeremiah Love. And we're going to take Tajay Spears because we are going to build out some Titans correlation here. Consigliere, the only breaking news TikTok people do. April, where's Debo? That is true. You know what? I will break if Debo signs while I'm on vacation, I will go to my official Debo correspondent, 3-year-old April Overzet, to get her reaction. We have 5 more picks. We have a 3-5-5-2. So Justin Herbert, we have him double stacked with Ladd and QJ. We have Tyler Shuck stacked up with Olave. We have Cam Ward and Spears. Our other running backs, Jonathan Taylor, Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Jalen Warren. Our other wide receivers are Drake London and Travis Hunter, along with Olave, Ladd, and QJ, and then 2 tight ends, Kittle and Henry. So we need some wide receivers. We need another tight end. What's the deal with Kamara? Are you guys drafting Kamara? I mean, what do we think's going on with Kamara at this point? Obviously, he's behind ETN now. Is he just going to retire? Do you think the dog app will ever let me be able to use Pete in UK? Man, that would be cool. That would be cool. I do not know though. Let me get Gunnar Helm on this one. If I'm going to reach a little ahead, get some Gunnar Helm in my life. We got 3-5-5-3. I'm gonna need to go ham at wide receiver here again. So we're gonna be rookie wide receiver spraying and praying here. So after the Omar Cooper, Denzel Boston, Kevin Concepcion, we're into Brazel, Chris Bell, Jeremy Bernard, Zachary Branch. I mean, all of these guys looking like solid round 2 draft capital through Branch and even Malachi Fields. I feel like I haven't heard much about Fields. Where's he going? Yeah, 239. Or we could also just take DK. Probably going to do that on ADP 186, 190. Not that it matters at this point, but we are on a Cam Ward thing. So let's go all in on the Titans if we're going to do Cam Ward, and we'll take DK as our wide receiver 6 here. So now we got a Ward double stack. We got a Herbert double stack. We got a Shuck skinny. And I wouldn't mind taking Vele as one of my late darts as well. I think we certainly need to grab a rookie wide receiver, though, coming up here. 3 more picks. Vele, rookie wide receiver, and ... Probably just we could probably go 3 straight wide receivers here. Kittle, Henry, Helm seems fine at tight end. Taylor, Henderson, Harvey, Warren, Spears. I guess we could go a 5th. Or a 6th running back if we really wanted. We got Alvin Kamara debates in the chat. He goes at pick 202 here. Seems fine. Seems fine. There goes Tua. Let's see here if Tiefer, who has Darnold, Geno, and Tua, does he go Michael Penix? Does he go the infamous Falcons quarterback handcuff strategy? One quarterback, one lefty quarterback for the price of two. Reminder here in 25 minutes, going to be hopping on with Nez and John to draft a little bit of MLB baseball. We're going to do the solo shot, $75 single entry. And I am proud to announce that Michael Penix did go to the Tua drafter. All right. Okay, we're taking a wide receiver here. Have we done Branch? So it goes Brazil in line for pick 50. Let's do it. We're just going to sort. This is Peter's rookie rankings sorted by draft capital. And after Kevin Concepcion, Chris Brazil right now projecting for the most draft capital at pick 50. Again, like similar to the Concepcion, Boston, Omar Cooper stuff, like if this draft capital is correct, they're all moving up 20, 30, 40, 50 spots, depending on landing spot. And I think you could say the same thing for these second round guys. Brazil, Bell, Jeremy, Zachary Branch, if they go in round 2, you're not going to be able to get these guys at pick 212. You're just not going to be able to get second round rookie wide receivers at these prices. Why is Mason Taylor not getting love this year? I think even coming into the league, he was kind of like a high floor, low ceiling prospect, like didn't really have the high end traits to really break out in fantasy. It was kind of just like a volume play, a do everything well type of tight end. And, you know, the quarterback situation obviously last year wasn't great. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I am going to let's do Vele. Let's do Vele here. I do want to get Vele, get my Shuck double stack, and then we can figure out what we want to do with the last pick. 3-5-8-3. Herbert double, Shuck double, Ward double. You know, trying to make amends for the lack of stacking I did in that first draft. But yeah, I mean, Mason Taylor, he seems fine. Like he seems like he fits that bucket of like you're going 3 tight ends late, 4 tight ends late. Where is he? ADP of 194. ETR has him ranked at 209. He's also coming off injury. I forgot about that. I assume he's going to be fine, but had the neck thing that put him on injured reserve. I think he's fine. But I understand why there's not excitement to draft Mason Taylor. Oh, is that a rule? I can't draft Tennessee wide receivers? My bad. My bad. I can't read that sign. All right, so I'm going to be looking at running backs and wide receivers for this final selection. I was kind of debating, like, do I push? I could have gone Io Manor there and really ripped it in on the Titans. Yeah, so I'm done with Titans. Chargers. Trey Harris already went. There is KLS still kicking around down there. But I think I'm probably good with Ladd and QJ. And then Saints, we're good. I guess you could take a flyer on Devin Neal, but that just seems like a backfield to just wait and even see if what they do in the draft. Make sure they don't add another running back. The question is, what do you guys think? This is a 3-5-8-3. Let me tell you the running backs and the wide receivers, and you tell me, should I go a wide receiver with the final pick or a running back? We have Jonathan Taylor, Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Jalen Warren, and Tajay Spears. And then the wide receivers, we have London, Olave, Ladd, QJ, Hunter, DK, Chris Brazell, and DeVon Achane. What do you guys think? I'm going to put in the queue this Malachi Fields. So we were just looking at him sneaking into round 2 potentially. But if someone makes a case, you guys like RB? I don't think I'm getting it in time. What about tight end? I could have. Kittle, Henry, Helm. Yeah, I just no one spoke to me here. I don't even know who this is. Reed, Desmond Reed. What kind of draft capital are we looking at here? 218. That's the thing that's so hard about this. It's like, yes, I understand structurally a running back probably would have been nice, but it's like, are you going to take a running back who's projected to go in the 200s? Or are you going to take a wide receiver who's projected to go top 70? I don't know. All right. The team is in the books. Let me head over here, actually. Or are we still? Okay, it finished. That was my 9th draft. Today's date is 3/23. Another BBB. Here's the squad. I do think these have looked better. I think this was a pretty strong draft, just positionally and not getting behind anywhere. Justin Herbert, Tyler Shock, Cam Ward, Jonathan Taylor, Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Jalen Warren, Tajay Spears, Drake London, Chris Olave, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Travis Hunter, DK, Chris Brazell, DeVon Achane, Malachi Fields, George Kittle, Hunter Henry, Gunnar Helm. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having flipped one of these wide receivers to like a rookie running back, but I think I don't mind it. I don't mind it here. Go AZ Card said my drafts are getting stronger. Kittle out and Helm may be nothing. Yeah, I'm less concerned about early zeros at tight end. 1, at these prices at pick 125. 2, when I think I can get, again, my 8.4 points or whatever my projection was for Hunter Henry. And I do think Gunnar Helm, I don't think he's going to be a 0. I think he'll have a role as well. So I'm okay biding my time for whatever it is, 6, 7, 8 weeks. If there's one position that you can kind of survive 5, 6s, 7s from, and then get those spike weeks late, I think it's tight in there. All right. Appreciate everybody hanging out here on Best Ball Breakfast. Quick recap of the schedule, just because things are different with my traveling. I'm doing Off and On the Clock here in 17 minutes with the Badge Bros. We're doing MLB baseball. So if you're looking to get your toes in the water there and or draft your solo shot, we're going to be filling one of those on the show. Swolecast today at 3 p.m. Eastern, moving that show up a day as well, since I will be out from Tuesday to Tuesday. ADP Chasing will still be live as usual on Tuesday evenings, but I will not be back until next Wednesday after the shows today. We will try to bring back Best Ball Breakfast on Wednesday next week. That's a week from this Wednesday. And then also Best Ball Bash. Going to bring that back as well on Thursdays when I get back. Hope everyone has a lovely rest of the week. I'll see you on Off and On the Clock. I'll see you on the Swolecast. Otherwise, I'm going to be out of office. Hope all of you guys have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you soon. Peace.